Congratulations on a fantastic film. Can you tell us a little bit how you got involved in the project and how you prepared for that role?
Well, really, it came out of the blue, like all good projects do. There's just a script that lands on your desk, and you're very fortunate to be sent it, and it was a proper page-turner, and I couldn't wait to see what happened next. And it was full of surprises and twists and turns, and you think it's going in one direction, suddenly it does a complete right turn and goes in another direction, and the character's vivid and different and interesting. And so it was in the days of lockdown, so Babak the director, and I spoke quite a lot on Zoom and talked about the character and the way that we might put it together, and then we finally got to make it, which was great.
And obviously, you've played a lot of sort of upper-class roles in Downton and Paddington. How was it to kind of take a bit of a dark twist on this character for you?
Well, I mean, you may say it's a dark twist. Other people would say I'm finally revealing my true self. It was great fun. It's great fun because obviously, playing a character that you think is one thing and then it turns out to be he's quite another was really good fun. Really good fun. I can't wait to see it with an audience tonight.
And what's it like working with Babak, such a visionary director, and also with such an amazing ensemble cast? Kelly Macdonald and George, and then the rest of the supporting cast for you. How was that?
Oh, it was terrific, and Babak is a very individual filmmaker, and like all good new filmmakers, he's got his roots in the past. He acknowledges the filmmaker and pays homage to the filmmakers of the past, Hitchcock, etc., but absolutely has his own defining stamp. And if you've watched his other films, you'll see that he's a proper new visionary. I think he's got an absolute love of narrative and thriller and suspense, but also has quite a lot to say, in terms of society. And this film, does that as well. But first and foremost, it's a rollicking good yarn. And he and Kit, our DOP, a wonderful team of collaborators using the camera with great imagination and wit and freshness. So I loved working with him because he's a new voice.
And did you collaborate with Babak on it, or did you get to sort of get a bit of input into the role that you play yourself?
Yes, we did actually. He's very collaborative, and there were a couple of twists and turns in terms of the character that I said, wouldn't it be more interesting if? And he went, oh yeah, or no, shut up, I've written it. But a couple of the ideas he ran with, and I hope have added a little bit of texture. So he was a dream to work with because he was always open to the cast, this wonderful team of people, chipping in their ideas. But look, the good thing is we can blame it all on him ultimately.
And now that you've done this kind of role, would you do this again? And what's next for you?
I'd love to do something like this again. I mean, I don't know whether audiences will take to it, but it was a great departure from what people have been expecting of late. Certainly not Lord Grantham or Mr. Brown. So that was great. And what's coming next? I just finished a series called The Gold, which is all about the Brinksmat robbery of 1983, and that'll be out on BBC next spring. Well, I wouldn't say he's a monster. He's a sweet, cuddly man, and it was lovely to be able to bring some new tools out of the box, so to speak, and rattle them around a bit. We've all got this potential to be less than charming to each other, and to actually play Sir Hector Blake was a real treat in that regard. Well, reading the scripts, which is obviously where it all starts, was a complete joy because it totally surprised me. About every 2 or 3 pages, you think you've got your head around what's happening, and then it changes direction. And then I watched Under the Shadow, the film for which he won a BAFTA, and I realised what a fantastic filmmaker he is. And he's a real new voice. He absolutely builds on the great filmmakers of the past. He's got a nerdish knowledge of film history and film noir, thrillers, etc. But he's got his own take. And so I think I was very excited to work with him, collaborate with him on this. I don't know what the answer to that is. I think we're all fairly screwed up as human beings. We all have our true crime podcast. I know I do. We're all, the murder mystery thriller industry is massive, and so the way that that man behaves to his fellow man is always intriguing, and there's a darkness within all of us, but hopefully a lot of light. Well, there's no doubt that the Downton team has become my second family over the last 10, 12 years, and I'm immensely grateful to it. I'm immensely fond of it and proud of it, and I'm immensely touched at the way that it's moved people around the world and has shown a sort of goodness of spirit actually amongst its fans and the number of people who've contacted us to say what it's meant to them has been huge. So whether there'll be any more, never say never, but maybe it's time to put the castle to bed. Oh, I think it's very unkind of you to say it's a nasty piece of work or anything like that. It was great fun to play because really you're just interpreting the twisted mind of a writer like Babak and trying to bring his weird character to life. So it was great fun. It was a nice departure. I think the fact that it's different. I've watched one of his earlier films, Shadow, and he's a remarkable filmmaker, and that's what really attracted me to the fact that it was going to be there are constant surprises and psychological twists and turns that I found really appealing. And, I wanted to get to know this director before and have him certified. I do all my own stunts. Well, you've seen Paddington too, I hope. I do the splits, I do everything. No, I think I did actually do most of it myself. Oh no, it was good. It was good fun. It was all very safe. No animals were harmed in the making of the film. I think I got a few bumps and bruises, but no, it was great. I treated the youngsters very gently.
And speaking of, what would they like to work?
They were great. In fact, the film's quite compartmentalised actually, and so I didn't think we only had sort of a day with each. I only had a day with sort of each of them, but they're great. And George, I've known as an actor since he was a kid, and he's a really wonderful reading man, and Percy as well. And it was a real treat to work with them all. No, I don't know anything more apart from it's called Paddington and Peru, so maybe we'll be going to Peru. I think it includes in the title.